So they began making their empire in 633 when the first Khalifa, Abu Bakr, launches his armies into the Persian and Roman empires simultaneously in what should have been a completely insane, impossible, can't be done event. And it's not only done, but by 711, the Arab Empire became the largest empire on the planet to that date. There have been larger empires since, but there had never been a larger empire before this. It stretched by 711 from Spain to Pakistan. It went all the way into Central Asia. So if you can conjure a map of the Roman Empire, it owned about 60% of the Roman Empire. Conjure a map of the Persian Empire, it owned 100% of the Persian Empire, and it went into Central Asia and it went into India. Right? For those of you, because I just said Pakistan, for those of you who don't know, the British cruelly and sadistically cut Pakistan out of India. Pakistan is India. It's just, you know how the Brits are. It's divide and conquer, wreck, destroy, ruin. India is named after the Indus River, which is 100% in Pakistan. That's just cruel. You know what I mean? Anyway, so, this Arab Empire, by the way, when it was born, it had a tiny Muslim population. But by 711, it had a few more Muslims. It was maybe 5–10% of the population was Muslim. The empire itself was majority Christian, 60% Christian. In fact, probably somewhere around 60% of the world's entire Christian population was in the Arab Empire. Isn't that hard to comprehend? The majority of the world's Christians lived in the Arab Empire, an empire that was majority Christian. In 711. So the empire has been around that. Right? From 633 to 711, it's already been around for a few decades. It's not like it was just born. One of the reasons why Muslims are such a small percentage of the population is they didn't convert by the sword. There was no compulsion to become Muslim. And at first, what the Muslim conquerors did was they said, if you're Christian or Jewish, you worship the book, therefore you have a pathway to heaven, so you have to be treated like a full human. But then as they kept conquering, they kept running into other religions, and they just kept extending it. So the Zoroastrians, okay, yeah, why not? And right, centuries later, by the time they're in India proper, they're like, yeah, Hindus too, it's all good, we're going to make this work. Right, that was what kept happening. By the way, the Arab Empire in 711 was probably about 5–10% Buddhist, just to mess with you. Afghanistan had a giant Buddhist population. So, it seems counterintuitive, but there it is. That empire gets into a conversation with itself. And the conversation it has with itself stems from a problem that they had. The Arabs had never ruled themselves, let alone ruled an empire, right? Until this moment. 633, the year they launched the empire, is the year the Arabs, for the first time in history, ruled the entire Arabian Peninsula. So they don't even catch their breath. They conquer the Arabian Peninsula, put it under a single state, and then they just go. They just keep going. Next thing you know, they've conquered the Persian Empire, and they've conquered the majority of the Roman Empire, and they're in France, trying to conquer France. It was the Battle of Tours. 732 is in my head. I hope that's not wrong. This empire has a problem. Arabs don't know how to run an empire. They've never run an empire before. Normally conquerors are arrogant and they're cruel and they're sadistic. Like take the Romans. So I'm part Italian. So for those of you that like being mean to Italians, a little bit, but it's okay. Gaius Julius Caesar, the guy you incorrectly called Julius Caesar, when he conquered Gaul, there were 3 million people living in Gaul. When he left, there was 1 million people living in Gaul. He murdered 1 million, he enslaved 1 million, and then he looked at the remaining million and went, welcome to the Republic. By the way, we'd like for you to worship our gods. Let's have your taxes now. Oh, and we're going to steal your technology. That's what conquerors often did, right? The Arabs, on the other hand, were humble about this, and they told the Romans and the Persians they had conquered, we don't know what we're doing, we don't know how to do this. We want to just leave you where you are. You're a bureaucrat, you're running this province, don't stop. And then we'll watch you, maybe we'll figure it out, but in a few generations, hopefully we'll have this sorted out. In the meantime, I'm going to counterfeit this money over here. It's got crosses on it, but that's okay, I'm okay with that, I like Jesus. And that was kind of their conversation. So, the reason that matters is Muawiyah. I showed you the coin. Muawiyah the first moves the capital after a civil war that lasts 5 years, that ends in 661. He moves the capital to Damascus from Medina. When he puts the capital in Damascus, he puts it in a former Roman city. And that matters because it meant that the bureaucrats around Muawiyah are shaping the policies he's creating, and it orients the Arabs and the Arab Empire west. It orients them towards the Romans. And in fact, he's going to lay siege to Constantinople. He won't capture it. But then a subsequent Arab, the next century, is going to do it again, and they'll fail a second time. Had they captured Constantinople on either of those two, they would have taken out the Romans too, because they had already conquered the Persians. Yazdegerd III was the last Persian emperor. He's gone. Persians are done. But the Romans are still hanging on. For the record, what saved the Romans was the emperor put out a contest. And he said, anybody who can invent something that can save us, I will give you a sum of money. A Syrian refugee. Isn't that cool? Isn't that weird, a refugee did it? I thought we were supposed to put them in cages. Anyway, a Syrian refugee invented a flamethrower. So what happened was the Roman Navy had a chain blocking the vulnerable north end of Constantinople. They had a chain that went across, so the Arab Navy couldn't get through it. And the Roman Navy was hiding behind the chain, this big chain. And the Romans pulled up the chain, and the Roman Navy started coming out, and the Arabs are like, why are they coming? We'll just sink them. This is suicide. And the Romans came right up on them, and the Arabs had no idea they had flamethrowers, and they just opened up and set the Arab fleet on fire. And that's how they saved Constantinople. Anyway, that's why you should never turn away Syrian refugees. That is the rule on that one. Or is the rule you should make them. Sorry, I went to a dark place. All right, so in 750, there's a coup d'etat. The Abbasids overthrow the Umayyads, and they move the capital to a brand new city that they've just built on a village. The village is called Baghdad. It's a Persian village, and they move the capital to this city, and they rename it Medinat al-Salam, the city of peace, and they build this amazing fortress system. It's two-layer fortress system. It's incredible. The city should be impossible to capture. And science and commerce and philosophy pour into the city, art pours into the city, and the city grows really fast and becomes a major city really quickly. But it's in Iraq, which was Persian. Not necessarily ethnically, by the way. There was a huge Arab population in Syria during Roman period and a huge Arab population in Iraq already. What I mean is it was the Persian Empire. But there were also a lot of Persians as well because they were intermingled. Because you got to remember, this is a pre-nationalistic society. It's before people went, oh, my DNA is better than DNA by virtue of my race, right? Or by virtue of my nation. Back then it was, I was born in this city and that makes me better than you. It was city discrimination, which is fun.